We just got finished talking about maroon. Let's get into a different kind of maroon. Instead of going south, we're gonna go north to Minnesota. We're gonna talk about Darius Taylor. Now, let's get this out of the way too. That's a crowded running back room up there in Minnesota. There's some new looks up there. But guess what? I mean, Darius Taylor, how many games was he over like 200 yards last year? Was it 3 games?
Well, it was so he played in 6 games. He finished four from start to finish,
Oh my
right? And
God.
he averaged 184 in all of those games. That is ridiculous. 121 carries for 737 in just those 4 games.
It's
Five
not just
touchdowns.
volume either. Like it is volume, right? The pure yardage is volume, but like the reality is like he was effective. Like he was very good. Those other running backs in that backfield were not. Bryce
No,
Williams was not effective. You had
nope,
Sean Tyler, not effective.
terrible.
So how was it that this true freshman running back, 4-star, highly rated player in terms of Minnesota standards, how does this guy come in and he was just immediately a way better, even Zach Evans. He was way better than Zach Evans, I thought. So it's like, how is he that effective? And PJ Fleck, it's a big deal to play running back for him. And everyone knows that, right?
Yeah.
Take care of the football and do what you got to do. Like, uh, he doesn't necessarily trust everyone to do that, right? And Darius Taylor, man, awesome. He did awesome. And they brought in Sam Bangura in that running back room. And who else did they bring in that backfield?
Marcus Major,
Marcus
as
Major
well as
from Oklahoma.
two incoming true freshmen as well. But those guys will probably redshirt. Although Oifeme Ojabadu, I got to figure that out. But he's turned out to be a stud, obviously, in spring so far. But yeah, to me, what makes him a breakout guy is the production. 184 yards per game is not going to last over 12 games. But if he is healthy, which the plan is for him to be healthy, like he's going to be a guy in the Big Ten. He was on pace to be Big Ten running back of the year in that type of era, first, second team Big Ten in a very, very loaded Big Ten running back room, right? And he's a guy, true sophomore, coming out of Michigan a year ago, seventh player in Michigan. He was a guy, yeah, he was only 350th in the country, but for Minnesota, he was one of their highest rated recruit, and he was the gem in terms of they fought tooth and nail to keep him committed. They identified him early in the state of Michigan. He actually played wide receiver up until his halfway through his junior year of college, of high school football until he made switch to running back. So that's why he was a little bit delayed in terms of his actual recruitment. Didn't take off until after his senior year when he balled out
And,
in the
and that,
state of
that's a reflection on
Michigan.
his ranking. Like he probably should have been rated higher if he had played running back all those 4 years.
And that was reflected when teams like Notre Dame and Michigan came crawling, not crawling, came in at the last
Yeah,
second
they were
and were
begging.
begging.
They were at the
Yeah,
knees of Minnesota in a
it
recruiting
wasn't it
battle.
wasn't us. But and let me tell you, there were a lot of fans, me included. Well, I mean, not me included. There were a lot of fans that were okay. Darius Taylor's gone. Some team will NIL him away from us. But hey, the boosters ponied up and they kept him, and he's happy to be a gopher. I think he really loves it. And why would he not? Why would he leave? Right? Because he has all this volume and production. But I also think that the next step he can take is in that receiving room, which we saw a little bit against Iowa. We saw it in certain games, we saw it in high school,
Yeah.
obviously, as a receiver. They want to keep him healthy. They want to rotate more running backs, but also use him out of the backfield. You're bringing in Max Brosmer. You've got Daniel Jackson. A lot of fun things happening on this Minnesota offense, right? That also returns five major contributors on that O line that graduated. One player, a senior offensive center for them, and they bring back a couple guys that can really play center as well. So yeah, it's a run heavy offense. When healthy, he was unbelievable. There's no question that he should be on this roster. If you're a college football fantasy fan, right, you understand that he has immense value going in the first and second rounds of some mock drafts already. He's a guy that is just awesome. And if he blows up or if he continues to stay healthy, really, it's not if he breaks out. It's more like if he stays healthy, then he will break out. And that over under of 4.5 will probably hit in favor of Minnesota. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and Say Bangura is a 1,000 yard rusher in his own right. Uh, Marcus
Marcus
Major
Major.
probably could have gone to a different couple other schools. I think they're a promising chance to compete for this running back spot. But like when I look at bringing in Say Bangura and Marcus Major, that was depth. That was to spell Darius Taylor of the absolute abysmal workload that he would have had to endure. I mean, you saw with Muhammad Ibrahim. I mean that dude. Oh my, talk about workload. That dude has zero tread left on his tires. Minnesota literally drove him to the ground, and I think they're trying to just avoid that somewhat in this instance. So, can you blame him? You can't really blame him, right?
Oh no. Well, first of all, you saw what happened, and they even talked about it. If you look at that bowl game, right, of the Quicken Lane Bowl, I mean, he had almost 40 carries. He had over 200 yards. I mean, we were starting our backup quarterback that was an option quarterback in high school. Like we weren't going to throw the football. We were playing Bowling Green. You had to just run the football, and Darius Taylor did it. And they understood. PJ Fleck went to them like, hey, you're probably going to have 30, 40 carries in this game. And he's like, okay, it's the last game of the year. You might as well rest up the next couple months and really attack spring football. And that was it. But yeah, like you mentioned, they're bringing in some depth pieces because they got down to their sixth string running back last year, who was a walk-on Jordan Newman, who actually ran the ball well in one game, but he was the only running back that was healthy that was not fumbling every snap. And so they ran him like
Yeah.
35 times, and then he got hurt again, or he got worn down and was not the same the rest of the year. So they're trying to avoid that. Credit to Minnesota for actually being able to build depth at a position of need in their standards, in their offense. So we'll see. But Darius Taylor, you watch him play. He's such good vision for a true freshman. His contact balance is incredible, right? His run after catch, right? Well, run after contact is just incredible. I don't know. There's not enough good things to say about how he runs the football and his agility, his breakaway speeds at times. What's that?
I want you to pin this clip when I say, like, when I watch him play, and he does, when I say he does everything well, I mean he does everything well, right? And you were just mentioning it. Second round draft pick in the NFL draft in 2 years.
That's not
I'm gonna- I'm
crazy.
I'm gonna pin it right now. What he's a you said unbelievable runner. We already talked about that. He's unbelievable receiver. He's a receiver in high school. How about in pass pro? Bryce
Oh,
Williams was the only person that was his only job. Yeah, that was what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be don't fumble and play pass pro downs. Darius Taylor quickly, well, Bryce Williams got hurt, but Darius Taylor was better in pass pro than Bryce Williams. The stats back it up. The film
a
backs it
true
up.
freshman. I
The
mean,
PFF grades back it up. Like in pass pro, Darius Taylor is unreal. This is a legitimate, not just Power Five player. This is a Power Five star. I think he is that good at his position. This was an absolute gem that Minnesota found in that recruiting class. And like you said, glad that we get some collectives pointing up because college football is better when players like Darius Taylor are playing on teams like Minnesota.